people from Home First aren't all from our church. They're not even all Methodists, and we intend that to be that way. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Home First, but I want to start with a modern parable. And it's a parable about a man who went on vacation down in the Gulf of Mexico, and overnight there was a big storm out at sea, churned up the sea, and it loosened up a bunch of the sea life from the seabed, and it had washed thousands or maybe even tens of thousands of starfish up on the beach, above the high water line, above the high tide line, where they would likely die. And the man was looking at this scene of destruction and just feeling terrible about it all. And there was a woman walking down the beach, and she's picking up a starfish, giving it her best throw, and throwing it back out in the sea. Goes a little bit further, picks up another one, throws it out in the sea. And he goes up to her and he says, "Ma'am, there's tens of thousands of starfish out here. You know, what you're doing doesn't matter." She says, "Mattered to that one." So what I want to talk about is I want to talk about people whose lives have been disturbed by storms. Various kinds of storms, and might be mental health, whatever, but they've ended up washed out of the mainstream of American life. They're beyond the high water line, and they need help. This church has been involved in many things that help and speak to the needs of the folks who have been washed out of the mainstream. The Bridge tackles, first off, the most important and most urgent need. It feeds them. Their bodies would die without that food. The Bridge recognizes that there has to be social services that go along with that, or mental health crises, alcohol, legal problems can get their lives into a downward spiral that ends in death, and they provide those services as well. And that maintains those people who otherwise might be completely lost, but it maintains them at the edge of existence, just clinging on. So we're trying to work with some social enterprise, Bridge Bread. There will be many more social enterprises that can add a third leg beyond the feeding and the social services to try to make a platform where these folks can get their lives back on track. And that social enterprise aspect is employment. Employment not only provides money that can help them buy the things that they need, but it provides a sense of self-worth and the value of doing meaningful work. But there's one piece still missing, and it's absolutely imperative, and it's on your insert here. It says, "It will be a shelter and shade from the heat of the day, a refuge and a hiding place from the storm and rain." Yeah, it's from Isaiah 4:6, and that's housing. In St. Louis, housing for poor people tends to be a very profitable business for slumlords. I've done a financial analysis on this, and you can buy houses really cheap and you can rent them out really expensive. But folks who are on the edge, who have a little bit of employment, probably at minimum wage or close to it, can't even afford any of the housing choices that they have. So we're trying to create, through Home First STL, that's the formal name, Home First STL Inc., a separate corporation, supportive housing choices that bundle together with the other three legs of this platform to make a four-legged stool, a very stable platform, one that's not easily turned over with the next storm, be it a health crisis or loss of employment or whatever, and to provide housing and services and even a bus pass thrown in our four-legged stool so that the folks can begin to rebuild their lives. I'm going to ask you to respond to Pastor Kathleen's sermon in several ways. One is, I'm going to make it real easy. I'm going to ask you to support Bridge Bread by enjoying a treat. The Bridge Bread team made you some apple cinnamon rolls. They're downstairs. They're for our fellowship. We're going to be hosting fellowship. I'm going to ask you to help with food. We've got the fixings to put together what we call a Matthew's brown bag. It's a bag. We're going to put a complete meal in it, and I ask each one of you to do that. And the best thing you can do with that meal is to take it with you, put it in your car, and when you see somebody hungry, just give it to them. If that doesn't work for you, you're just not in places where you're likely to run into somebody that's hungry, you can leave it in the church office, and church office will give it to somebody who knocks on the door. There's bridge bread down there to buy. You can support our employment by buying some bridge bread. We got an extra batch of really good brioche today. But more than anything today, what I want you to do is I want you to step up to the plate and try to really make a permanent change in people's life by helping us to launch our affordable housing ministry, Home First STL. We're going to buy a 4-family flat. We're going to ask you later to help us with paintbrushes and hammers to fix it up. We're going to make it available to 4 people who otherwise wouldn't have safe, secure, and permanent housing. And we need your help. We need your financial help. We need you to write a check, to step out and say, I want to make a permanent change and not just support these people on the edge of existence, but give them a platform from which they can truly succeed and have the opportunity that we all think we should have in the United States of America. And I ask you to write a check, make it out to Lafayette Park United Methodist Church, and put Home First or Home First STL in the memo line. I think we have a situation here where our brothers and sisters are lying by the side of the road. They've been beaten up pretty bad, and we got a choice to make. We can walk to the other side of the road, we can turn our head, or we can be like the Good Samaritan and we can reach out to them and be truly a visible sign of Christ's presence in our urban community and beyond. Thank you.